All right, what's going on, everyone? Man, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's Dandadan time. I don't think I've been looking forward to anything quite like this in a long time. Not the One Piece chapters, not Ichi the Witch, not Kyoshi. Honestly, I've been more excited for this chapter than I was for Pantheon Stalking, new Pantheon Stalking. And that was like, I was waiting a couple months for that one because I watched it just recently before the new one. But man, like the cliffhanger on last week's chapter, crazy. The anticipation and the hype for this fight, insane. Jaden says first one to be here. Unfortunately, Jaden, no, you are not. We got Eden's in the chat, but you were number 2. So you're still on the podium. You still get that silver medal. Eden's, Jaden, Jaideep, how we doing today? What's going on? How are people liking the Dandadan anime so far? How do we feel about season 2? Everyone seems to really enjoy it. It's looked really good so far. They haven't really changed all that much. The pacing is pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be. So when I dropped my Evil Eye video, I planned it for that week, and they dropped the Evil Eye backstory that episode. So the pacing is pretty much exactly what I was expecting it to be. Thanks for correcting me. Yeah, it's not a big deal. What's going on, Chaotic Joka? How you doing? I'm liking the animation. Is nice for the Evil Eye fight. Yeah, that I have a feeling, I don't know what the odds are, but there's a good chance that fight will go viral, or at least a clip of it, like a scene of it, will go viral. I think that, and maybe one more scene, depending on how they pace the second half of season 2, I can almost guarantee there's going to be one scene either towards the end of season 2 or in the beginning of season 3 that goes viral, because people are going to be upset / surprised about it for sure. And I'm actually going to make a mental note of it. We got Orange. I'm loving Dandadan's new season. Zachary says Okarun using his squat training is crazy. Kento with the dirty jokes is going to be the most viral moment. I don't know if that'll be the most viral moment. We can definitely clip this. If it goes viral, Zachary called it. I don't think it'll be viral, but I think people are going to find it funny for sure. People are going to be like, who's this weirdo? I'm wondering when Kagurabachi will get an anime and who will do it. There were rumors in January that I think Cygames Pictures was supposed to do it, but that's like 6 months ago, 5 months ago. Nothing's happened. Hey there, I won't be able to stick around the stream, but I just wanted to say I love your videos. They're amazing and fun to watch. Well, thank you, Orange. Honestly, you just made my day. I love when people tell me that they love the videos and they make the time to come to the stream. So even if you're only here for a few minutes, it means a lot and I appreciate it. Thank you. So it's been a few minutes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chapter. I haven't been spoiled. I saw glimpses of panels, but everyone seems to really love this chapter. So we have this mysterious ninja character, this, excuse me, Count Saint Germain lookalike, bowing to Seiko. Our team has been separated. It's Seiko versus human ninja, smoke ninja, excuse me, and then Momo and Vamola are fighting Greninja in the other room, the frog ninja. So anyway, he's bowing to Seiko. So as we're suspecting, he's either very respectful or he's telling Seiko that he's about to kick some ass. He's like, I hope you have some last words. And Seiko's like, oh shit, this just got real. Oh, damn. Bro, he pulled out the sumo punch. He punched Seiko so hard, she went through a support beam. That is crazy. Like just head first into a support beam. That's nuts. It also kind of seems like he's fighting with his eyes closed. Am I crazy for saying that? So he goes for a kick, misses, breaks the floor. This dude, we saw it last week, last chapter, but this dude is strong. Like he is ripped. Misses. Seiko does like a barrel roll. She's parrying all his punches. She's just guarding the punches. Each strike is immense. He's aiming right for my vitals. So, prediction, he has his eyes closed because he's like reading her chi. He's like going, he's like seeing without seeing, right? That sort of thing. He does look like, yeah, he kind of looks like he has his eyes closed and then he opens them. Moves that aim for the vitals are easy to read. Seiko pulls out like the ultimate kung fu parry right here. Dude, we're seeing in this arc that like, you know, she's got the moves. Like she's kept up with her Jackie Chan movies, her Bruce Lee movies. Observation hockey, that's what it seems like. It's kind of what it looks like. He's using observation hockey. Am I crazy? That's what it looks like. Guns, have a good stream. Well, thank you, Guns. I appreciate it. It does look like his eyes are closed. Yeah, okay. So clearly there's some sort of martial art thing going on here. Or some sort of ability, perhaps. I'm generally asking what's great in Dandadan other than the cheap jokes, the great fights, as we're clearly seeing, and the amazing characters. So she punches through him. She does like the, if anybody watched Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple, in like the second or third episode, his karate teacher teaches him to do like that double punch. So Seiko does like the karate double punch, but he mystifies and then he comes back. So he clearly used some kind of ninja smoke move to dodge the attack. But then he comes back and he punches her, basically sucker punches her, and he double punches her in the chest. And then he says Seta. So some kind of attack name. He punches her so hard she goes through an entire support beam this time. That is crazy. So Seiko's catching hands. This chapter is rated E for everyone. That is the takeaway from this chapter. Dandadan is rated E for everyone, unfortunately. So he beats the shit out of Seiko and then he flips his hair back. So Seiko's all done. It's not looking so good. Probably broke a rib, or 2, or 3. He says, how splendid to think a warrior exists who could surprise me. So you're a Nenra, a smoke yokai. So he's not just a ninja, he's a yokai. Which is weird, right? Because everyone thought he was like a cousin or a relative of Count Saint Germain. I saw some people come out with a theory saying like there's a planet of people that are like Count Saint Germain. But clearly, right, he's a yokai. At least that's the implication. He steps on her broken rib, so clearly he's ruthless. He says, please accept your defeat. Since we've traded blows, you must understand now you cannot win against me. She says your ability is totally a sham. He kicks her away. Yeah, she's not looking so good. So he materializes on her chest, literally crushing her ribs. From a biological standpoint, it is contradictory to not fear death. I expect that the moment you have a physical body, you can't escape the act of living. That sounds like a weird statement. The moment you have a physical body. So I'm guessing he means like, I don't have one. So when a person does get one, right? Let's try an experiment. If I destroy enough of your body, can I also destroy your conviction? So somebody crashes through. I have a pretty good idea of who this is, unfortunately. So he beat one of the ninjas. Yep, it's Evil Eye. How freaking long are you going to make me wait? So that didn't take long. Everybody thought Evil Eye was going to politely wait in the car. Obviously, that's not the case. This was a really good chapter. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 just because obviously it was kind of one-sided. And we did get a peek of Vamola and Momo. They're still dealing with all those ninja clones. And they're kind of just running around. But yeah, Seiko got the shit knocked out of her. Like not even remotely close. Like she's probably going to be out of commission after this fight for sure. Which is no bueno. Damn. Well, at least we got a confirmation, right? Because it felt like for a while, you know, obviously Seiko wasn't like Evil Eye level, but for a while it felt like Seiko was like kind of a brawler. I mean, she was fighting a lot of people in hand-to-hand melee. And, you know, this chapter we get a confirmation, hey, if you're a strong yokai, if you're a brawler, she's gonna lose. So she can handle herself against civilians, right? Against most people. But if you're a yokai or you're like a strong brawler, that's where her abilities hit their limit. He came in a lot sooner than expected. That's what I'm saying. That being said, I felt like it was kind of necessary because like I just explained, I feel like it was getting a little ridiculous how much Seiko could fist fight. Like on top of her having her exorcist abilities, she could also throw hands, which is cool, but it's like, okay, come on. Now she's getting a little overpowered, I feel like. But obviously, that's not the case. Dandadan is better than solo leveling? I think so. A lot of people would disagree with you. Chat, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I don't always like the humor in Dandadan, to be honest. Sometimes there's too much over emotional faces. Yeah, I can get that. Dandadan does use a lot of chibi faces as well. I like it, but I can see why you wouldn't like it. Maybe it makes it too cartoony, I guess. Dude is basically a Logia. This was a very One Piece coded chapter. Like, as much as it should be a Naruto chapter, this very much felt like a One Piece chapter. He had a Logia ability. He was using observation hockey. He shouted some technique that we don't know. When he threw his punch, so the attack he used, it wasn't just a smoke attack. If you go to pages 8 and 9 of the chapter, he went to go throw a punch, and when he threw the punch, he charged the back of his arm with some kind of smoke tornado, giving him like increased acceleration when he threw the punch, and he called that Seta. So I'm going to do a quick Google search, see if that means anything. The Japanese Zori Seta are flat sandals. A kind of traditional Japanese footwear. They are more durable than Zori, which are sandals. Seta are not so difficult to walk in. Huh. So yeah, Seta are like not the wooden sandals, but like just like the straw sandals that kind of look like flip-flops. So like the shoes that Luffy kind of wears. Not exactly, but they're like old school Japanese flip-flops basically. Which I don't know what that would have to do with his attack. Huh. I don't know if anybody's got any theories on that one. I'd be interested to hear that, but that seems like the extent of that until we see the next chapter. I will say the choreography in this fight was especially good. We haven't had like a brawl, like a melee, like a hand-to-hand combat fight in a hot minute. Obviously it's been a lot of like abilities and sharks and laser attacks and tornadoes, but this chapter was like a very well needed like melee, like street fight, which Dandadan does really well. We got Eddie Rayman in the chat. What's going on, Eddie? How you doing today? Dandadan clears solo leveling because of the characters. I would agree. I like solo leveling for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons I like Dandadan better is because it has one of the best casts in all of anime and manga. That goes for like all anime and manga, not just like the new stuff. Dandadan is the best Jump Plus manga. I would say it's the best Jump Plus manga at the very least. I would argue it's the best ongoing manga, and it deserves to be for how long it is, right? Because we can have a different conversation, excuse me, when it ends in like a year or two or something like that. But I suspect that by the time it ends, it'll be in my top 10. I don't know about everybody else, but it'll be in my top 10. If you do art, well, what are you talking about here? Did you see the color page for the guidebook? No, I don't even know what you're talking about. That's the first time hearing about it. Bro got fed up on waiting. I mean, it's Evil Eye. He's like 5 years old, and he's got the patience of a squirrel. The biggest takeaway for me is the countdown on Momo's curse. I was just thinking about that. Is getting closer since now Vamola thinks a fairy is on her head. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. That was kind of confusing for me because before I could have sworn Vamola like remembered that she was with Momo, but in this chapter she seems like she has no idea what's going on. So This fight is going to be a quick fight, relatively speaking, because they need to get this whole thing resolved. But it is going to be interesting to see how it plays out exactly and how they get to that point. Raptor Art, are you asking me if I do art? The answer is no, I don't do art. That is a common problem in the new gen manga and anime. I'm not sure what moment you're talking about. I don't put too much faith in the Japanese mangakas as they often get bored of their story. Yeah, bro, I gotta be honest. I have no idea what you're talking about. You're kind of talking out of your butt on this one if you're talking about Dandadan. There will be a Dandadan guidebook with over 200 pages, and there's this double page with the main characters. Ooh, that sounds dope. Okay, I found some of your manga videos. Yeah, no, I talk about art in manga for sure, but I don't personally like practice art. I'm not an artist. I would like to at some point. I would like to pick up digital art, do that as a hobby, but right now we're just making our YouTube videos. Have I read any light novels? No, I've not read a single light novel. Not for any particular reason, it's just I would rather read manga. Let's check out the guidebook though. That's the first time hearing about it. Are you talking about Dandadan Daisukan? Is that what we're talking about? Dandadan will be releasing a special book titled Dandadan Daisukan. That sounds pretty cool. When is it supposed to come out? August 4th. So for us, that would probably be like late fall, Christmas, something like that. That sounds dope though. I would love to get, I hope they put the color page in there as like a poster that you can take out. That would be sick. Digital tablets are like 30 to 50 bucks. Honestly, I thought they were like 100 bucks. That's pretty cheap. 30 bucks. I mean, what does an Xbox controller cost? Like $80? That's crazy. Any chance GG gets semi-control of Evil Eye this fight to pull out the W, or do you think Evil Eye is just going to stomp him quickly for the plot? I would love to see GG finally get control over Evil Eye. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think that would be really cool. I think the odds of that happening in this fight are like 20% chance, maybe 15. I'd say he's got like a 10% chance of that happening. GG and Evil Eye fusion would be sick. Yeah, I feel like that'd be amazing, honestly. You don't see like too many people make theories about that, but I think everyone's kind of thinking about that. Do you think the Serpos will pull up and save Momo? Well, they said something before, right? After the whole incident with the human cyclone. They said something about they're gonna make plans to stop Momo, right? Something like that. Have I watched the movie The Lord of the Rings? Yes, I have. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about, though. Will Kagurabachi anime release 2026 or 2027? I don't think 2026 because it hasn't even been announced yet. So my guess would be 2027. What do people think about a Vamola transformation in the next few chapters? Not necessarily a transformation, but like a new ability. I feel like Vamola is due for some kind of upgrade because she is very useful in fights, but I feel like her fighting style is very straightforward. She transforms, she punches people, and that's kind of it. The one really cool thing she did is, I forget exactly what happened, but like, didn't she like fuse with Kinta to fight the alien monster thing, right? Something like that. But I mean, in the last arc, the last fight, excuse me, her whole purpose was stopping an air hole with her butt. You know what I mean? Like, she's just a body. Yeah, she's got to pull out the suit. She's got to pull out the suit, but like, I feel like some new ability or form is due. How would you rate Dandadan with the other new gen mangas? I would say out of everything that's currently running, Dandadan is #1. I would say Gachi Akuta is up there at like #2. What the hell is it called? Galaxius is up there somewhere. Ichi the Witch, Kagurabachi are all up there. Yeah. Kiyoshi for a while was up there, but the Black Parade arc is a bit shaky. It's not bad. It's definitely better than people give it credit for, but it's a bit shaky, I feel like. Does Black Clover count as new gen? I don't count anything before Jujutsu Kaisen as new gen. Like anything that started before like 2019, 2020, I don't count as new gen. So like Sakamoto Days is like, right? It's like around there. Would Okarun look more fly, according to Zachary, wearing Adidas or Nike? I mean, I feel like Nike is the move, right? Although Adidas has some nice shoes. I don't think it's so much the brand. I think it's more like the particular shoe. Is Dandadan better than Chainsaw Man Part 2? I think so. I have more fun reading it than Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is not bad, but the week-to-week experience has been kind of shitty lately, to say the least. I think it'll read a lot better by the end of Part 2, but right now it is like, not so great. Excuse me. What time period would you say Kagurabachi is? I don't know. It's like a fantasy. It's got cars, right? I'm pretty sure it has cars. So, like 1950. I don't know. It's a fantasy thing, so I really can't say for sure. Maybe like modern era. I don't know. Let's look at the Manga Plus rankings, because I didn't look at it yesterday. One Piece is #1, Boruto, Chainsaw Man, Dandadan. Spy Family is at #5, so Kaiju #8, which would typically be #5, is officially knocked out. Raise of hands, anybody in chat. I know I asked this before. Who is reading? So who is up to date with or in the process of catching up with Spy Family? Either the anime or the manga, because the manga is really good right now, but I feel like nobody really talks about it. It's in a similar situation as Kaiju #8, where like everyone reads it, but like nobody talks about it. Like everyone is like, oh yeah, I read it, but like Nobody's like dying to talk about the new chapters. I'm waiting for season 3 of the anime this October. Yeah, I feel like the anime is going to be a little more hype. I feel like what kind of killed it before was Spy Family was part of that initial wave of like season 2 part 1 stuff, right, like right around the same time as Stone Ocean, and people were not having it before, so people were kind of pissed off about that. Now I feel like it's at a point where nobody really cares about that and they actually kind of like it, so I feel like people won't care so much about Spy Family if it like releases in parts. Eden's just caught up to the manga. Will I rank my favorite seinen anime or manga? I could definitely do a stream dedicated to it, but I don't know how much I would have to rank because I don't really look for manga based on like shonen versus seinen. I kind of go by magazine. Yeah, speak up about it. If you're talking about Spy Family, then look out for a video next month because boy, do I have some thoughts about Spy Family. I caught up on the manga recently. I'm like a few chapters behind because I caught up to the current arc and I'm letting that one play out before I read it. But man, Spy Family is honestly better than it's ever been. I feel like it doesn't really start until like chapter like 70 or so. I feel like what held it back for like the first 70 chapters was that we mostly focused on our main crew and we didn't flesh out the side characters enough. Like we had a nice cast in general, but like we didn't spend enough time focusing on them specifically. I guess the way of putting it was we weren't using those characters to their optimal capacity. They were there, but like they weren't doing the best they could, is I guess what we could say. Will Queen Sensei heal Seiko after this beating? God, I hope so. Because she's got those powers, man. She could heal anybody. Vinland Saga? Hey, for all you Vinland Saga fans, look out for a video this weekend. Because we got the final chapter of Vinland Saga, and let me tell you, I'm ready to talk about Vinland Saga. Like this last chapter was being talked about a lot because you get a revelation on Yor's feelings. It depends on what happens in the chapter specifically. So I must be on the wrong timeline then, because I feel like I almost never see anyone talk about Spy Family. I'll have to do something about that. Black Lagoon I recommend, but also the story is more of a wash, rinse, and repeat cycle. I've watched the first season or so of the anime. The anime is awesome. I love the characters. I'm definitely due for reading the manga at some point. Do you think Momo gets captured the end of this arc, or she gets turned back to normal? Well, it's really 50-50, because if they beat these villains, then they go save Momo. But if they lose and they can't stop the curse in time, then Momo gets captured. Like I could easily see them beating these villains, but they run out of time. So Count Saint Germain shows up while Momo is tiny. Seiko's beat up. Evil Eye is all whatever. Vamola's all confused, and Count Saint Germain just pulls up and is like, I'm just gonna take this, and then pieces out. I could see that happening. For the most part, you don't. Last chapter was the most conversation it had since the potential reveal a few months ago. Okay, all right, I understand that. I also wasn't on Twitter yesterday. I don't know if you're talking about on Twitter specifically or Reddit or whatever. I know like nobody's really doing manga reviews. I know that much, right? I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw a new video on Spy Family. If you like Black Lagoon, then consider watching or reading Jormungand. Okay. Can you tell me what it's about? Like, what's the elevator pitch? But anyway, let's go back to our list. So Sakamoto, number 6. Kaitagami, number 7. So Kaitagami is still going very strong. It's above Kagurabachi and Ichi the Witch. Centuria still at number 10. Blue Box at 11. Ekidon Bros hanging in at 12. Class of Brains, is that new? Yeah, that's new. Interesting. Mad is at 14, so Mad is moving up for sure. Odor of the Flame is at 17, so I think it was at like 16 last week, so it's doing well. People are reading it, which is crazy because everyone is dooming Odor of the Flame, right? Everyone's saying it's all done, it's over, it's gonna get cut, but like it's number 17 on Manga Plus, which is pretty good for a manga with what, 10 chapters now? 11 chapters? That's crazy good. Martial King at 25, so it moved up a bit. It was at like 27 before. Chojin is doing good. Kyoshi still at that like number 34 spot, 34, 35 usually. That's crazy. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Kyoshi. I don't think it's gonna get cut in the next batch, but man, it's got to do something different because it's definitely not gaining new fans as of the last like month or so. It was on a strong run for a while, but I feel like it's in the same spot as Kagurabachi now, where it's kind of hit its ceiling. Yeah, Mad is, if it wasn't for Blue Box, Ekidon Bros, and Class of Brains, Mad would be in like the top 10, I feel like. But I mean, the fact that it's in the top 15 is amazing. That means like people are reading it. Like people like are invested in Mad. I haven't read it. I haven't read it in a while. It's definitely due for catching up. So Jormungand, basically, rather than a pirate group, it involves a kid joining an arms dealer, very similar to Black Lagoon. All right, I'll have to check that out. That sounds dope. Always Curious Frieren increased her manga sales when the anime first came out. It's not Shonen Jump, but I feel like this could have been one coherent comment. I don't know why you have to, unless that's the whole comment. Not really sure what's going on here. Yeah. It is crazy though that Chainsaw Man is so popular and everyone talks about it. Like whenever there's a new chapter, people talk about it. But it is crazy to me how Chainsaw Man is kind of like done a 180 of like Fujimoto could do no wrong like a year or two ago, like 2 years ago. And now like people are so, you have this crazy divide between people who read Chainsaw Man. You either are a hardcore fan and like every chapter is a banger and like you just don't get Fujimoto, let him cook, Fujimoto can't do anything wrong, or you're in the opposite camp of like Chainsaw Man fell off, Fujimoto lost his charm, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's like very black and white right now. Like there's a huge dichotomy. I've only heard bad things about part 2. The art style, there's definitely a noticeable decline. Some of it is a bit of a style change, but for the most part, it just seems less polished and not in a good way. How would I rank Gachi Akuta characters, excuse me? If you're talking about like just Gachi Akuta, I would say Rudo is my favorite. Then Engine. who's my number 3 favorite character. And then I would say he's not my favorite necessarily, but I am interested in what's his name, the leader of the Raiders. I feel like he's got the most interesting character dynamic going on. Do you honestly think that was Fujimoto in the video where he attempted to levitate? I've not seen that video. I like kind of know what you're talking about. I have no idea. Since the recent arc, Kyoshi kind of dropped a lot in popularity. I would have to see where you're getting that metric and like what you're like. So what are you specifically talking about? Like in Japan, in Jump? Like what do you mean? Because if we're going by Manga Plus, it was like for the whole Black Parade arc, it's been at that number 35 spot and it hasn't moved from there. So really it's just, it's not that it's gone downhill. It's just, it isn't gaining new fans. What's a make or break when you read a manga? I would say the two things that are the bare minimum for a manga are you need a good cast of characters, and then you need a plot that is well organized. The plot doesn't necessarily have to be the most original. For example, I hate to keep bashing on Kaiju number 8, but Kaiju number 8, when it started, obviously it had an original premise, but I mean, it was like, you know, very similar to like a lot of shonen manga, right? Like, oh, I'm going to be a monster fighting monsters. You know, we've seen it before. But when it started out, the pacing was actually really good. But the story is like kind of lazy, doesn't really know where it's going or what it wants to do. And there are good characters in Kaiju number 8, but the cast as a whole is like not that great. Like it's just a lot of characters that like don't really leave a strong impact. There's a few of them that are really likable, but a lot of them are like just kind of there. So yeah, cast of characters and organized plot are the big ones for me. Kaiju number 8 also ended, like every popular shonen manga, on an unsatisfying ending. Yes, and if you want to hear more thoughts about Kaiju number 8, make sure to check out my new video, which I just dropped today. Talking about how Kaiju number 8 is very popular and nobody talks about it. My favorite is Fu. Yeah, he's interesting. I also really like Amo. I wouldn't say she's my favorite, but like whenever she's around, you know it's going to be a good chapter. You know who I like is it Fu? No. I think it's Remlin, right? The artist. Yeah, Remlin. I really like Remlin. She's got like a very out there personality. And I like her design as well. I like how she has like the top knot, the hair in a scrunchie. I feel like the only character I see get talked about from Kaiju is the blonde. Yeah, Shinomiya. That's her name, Shinomiya. She's an okay character, but like she's the kind of character you've seen a million times already. Do you think we will see the Men in Black introduced in Dandadan? I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen some kind of like government organization in Dandadan. I feel like the only reason we haven't is because it's Japan, and like that's not like a stereotype in Japan. Whereas like if this was America, the CIA would pull up and be like, yeah, we're the Bureau of Alien Incidents. We're gonna take care of this one. Folo is also great. Who is Folo? I know that name. Is Folo... hold on, wait a minute. Folo's really cool. I like Folo. I like August. He doesn't really appear that much or do a whole lot, but I really like August. He's funny. Or X-File. Yeah, true. So for Kyoshi, I'm mostly talking about on Twitter. People don't talk about Kyoshi that much like before. Yeah, because the current arc is like kind of hit or miss. Shonen OG, who's the most annoying character in Kaiju? I don't really think there's an annoying character. That's the thing about Kaiju. Nothing is really bad about it. It's just kind of mid. Like there's just a lot of potential, but it like kind of just does a lot of the stuff you've seen a million times. Are we going to see some pirates in the next arc? Time to copy One Piece? I don't think we're going to see pirates. I wouldn't rule it out of the question, considering we got sharks on an airplane, but I don't know when we're going to get it. I don't know when we're going to get pirates. Zonka is the best. I like Zonka. I don't think he's the best, but I think he's really good. It would be great if he could win a goddamn fight for once. Not get his ass kicked every time. When do I plan on reading Magi or Magi? However you say that one. Soon. It's on my list. I haven't made the time to read it yet. Off the top of my head, I think Gintama, Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise, and Haikyuu had great openings. Adventure Quest, The Adventure of Dai has really good openings. Oh my god, what the Keimono Jihen. Keimono Jihen has a really good opening. Keimono Jihen is super good if you want like a good Exorcist series. Or I guess yokai series, whatever. Is there a fight in Black Clover you're looking forward to being animated? I would say Magna versus Dante is going to be internet breaking. That fight will be legendary. Oh, excuse me. You said endings. I don't know why I said openings. My bad. Gintama was really good. The ending to part 1 of Chainsaw Man was really good. I haven't finished Hell's Paradise, and I haven't read Haikyuu. Haikyuu might have to come soon as well. Do I like Black Clover's final villain? Yes, I like them. I don't love them, but I don't hate them. I like them. I think they're good. They're whatever. Yeah. How are you guys feeling about the current lineup of Shonen Jump? Like just specifically Weekly Shonen Jump. I feel like if I were to rank it, it would go in terms of personal enjoyment slash, you know, community enjoyment. I would say One Piece number 1, Ichi at number 2, Kagurabachi at number 3, Sakamoto number 4, and then I would say One Piece, Ichi, Kagurabachi, Sakamoto Days. I don't know. I feel like the number 5 would be kind of depending on like actual numbers, like what people are reading. Maybe Blue Box. I don't really read Blue Box, but I know a lot of people like it. Akane Banashi is also supposed to be really good. Lately, I'm behind on it. A lot of people like New Age Exorcist, but it's like still fighting to be popular. Witch Watch is really good, but you know, not as popular. So it's like, yeah, it could be one of those. Part 9 of JoJo Thoughts. I'm not caught up, but part 9 could easily be the best part. The start is really good. I like the characters so far. The stands are all really good. So yeah, it has a lot of potential for sure. I thought you were going to say Dandadan. Dandadan is not in Weekly Shonen Jump. It is on Jump Plus. Thoughts on original versus derivative manga? Don't be derivative. It's kind of a broad question. I have not read the last chapter of part 9 though. I'm like 5 chapters behind, I think. Excuse me. So Guns says One Piece at number 1, Kagurabachi at number 2, Sakamoto Days, Witch Watch, Gachi Akata. Really? So no Ichi the Witch. Interesting. I mean, I guess if you don't read Ichi, then that makes sense. But, well, we're not talking about Gachi Akata because that's not Weekly Shonen Jump. If you're talking about ongoing manga, sure, but I'm just talking about Weekly Shonen Jump. One Piece, so Edens says One Piece, Ichi, Kaedagami, Himiten, Shinobi Undercover. I feel like that's pretty consistent with people as well. For the people who read like Jump as a whole and not just like One Piece and Kagurabachi, I feel like that's pretty accurate. Yeah, I need to catch up on a bunch of... I'm like my problem is I'm mostly caught up on stuff, but I'm behind on a lot of stuff by like 10 or 20 chapters. That's going to be it for today's stream. I don't really have anything else planned to talk about. If you haven't already, go watch the Kaiju number 8 video. I had a lot of fun making that one. Yeah, that's out right now. There will be a stream Thursday. Unless something comes up, but I can't think of why I wouldn't be free. Right? Yeah, stream Thursday. I don't know what it'll be yet. Maybe we'll talk about Dr. Stone. Maybe we'll talk more Dandadan. I don't know yet. Maybe we'll just make it a reading day. So stream Thursday. A couple of videos this weekend. I won't spoil them yet, but I can at least say that there will be a video covering Vinland Saga. It won't be like a review of the final chapter because I already made the video, so obviously I don't know what's happening with the final chapter yet. Excuse me. But yeah, there will be a Vinland Saga video. There'll be another video as well. And then we will stream Sunday. I don't know why I would be busy Sunday. Oh, I got something in my eye. But there will be a stream Sunday. We will break the hiatus. God damn it. Right at the end too. Anyway, that's it guys. I will see